Peace. Let's talk about it. No Jumper and my expert opinion are both going through financial woes. And there's no telling if they're going to be able to bounce back. I feel like with both of these podcasts, they interviewed some people that I just couldn't rock with. Definitely the guy that you see in the pictures with everybody else. I know Drink Champs and Bootleg Kev are still, thriving. It's probably because they have more stability or they have more of a foundation. Whereas my expert opinion and No Jumper, they kind of started popping off during the pandemic and grew from there. They also had some issues in regard to their cast. They had casting issues on both shows. When you look at No Jumper, you had AD, T-Rel, and the rest of those guys who left because Adam was talking greasy and he was trying to cut people's pay and things like that. And when you start playing like that, you're going to have a problem. And the same thing with Math. Math had the guy Heineken and Esso or whatever. Pardon me if I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly. But they had a problem there and they didn't stay around. They left and they started doing their own thing. Okay? You got to be careful of who you interview. You can't just bring people on because you have beef with somebody else. It can affect people coming and checking in on you, especially when you have a street audience. Certain people are just no-nos to interview. And it'll cause you to crash. Even though Bootleg Kev and Drink Champs have still been able to thrive after interviewing this one person that I have that in the split screen, they interviewed them and they're still thriving. But like I said in the beginning, their foundation is strong. Nori had a great career as a hip hop artist. Bootleg Kev has been on the radio for a long time and he's being able to make connections. The same thing with Nori. I don't think that Math really had the connections, and he gives off this sense of arrogance, just from my opinion. He gives off this sense of arrogance. I don't know him from a can of paint. He doesn't care about my opinion anyway. And then No Jumper, I mean, he's arrogant too. He fell into the hip-hop sphere. He started off with the bike thing, just like with Math. Math started off and his show was supposed to be focused on the battle rappers, but the battle rappers, they don't mesh well with one another. That's why they go against one another. It's anybody can get it type of atmosphere with the battle rappers. So of course they're not going to come together. So it started off two different places with these two different shows, and then it ended up falling into that sphere. I know Adam was probably like, how did this happen? And he just jumped the gun. He bought too much stuff and, going on like that. He tried to get these buildings and all this other stuff going. He thought that the pandemic money was just going to keep on coming in, and it wasn't. Not like with Math, but Math just started having problems with his cast, and they left. And then after that, things just started to unravel with Math, from my opinion. I cannot stand behind people who try to justify telling. The term that I live by, or one of the terms that I live by, is TYC. Take your charge. If you get caught up into something that's illegal, you accept it, you try to fight it the best way you can, but do not throw somebody else under the bus. That's crazy. And whenever you get around that and you start doing that, I can't deal with you. And anybody who associates with someone who is known to do that, I have to step away. That's why I don't watch Drink Champs. That's why I don't watch. I stopped watching My Expert Opinion. That's why I stopped watching Bootleg Kev. That's why I stopped watching No Jumper. This is just my 2 cents. You can sell it, throw it away. It doesn't matter. And on that note, peace.